Now then, Vinyl Monkey here. Oh, do you like my new t-shirt? Can you see that? Yeah, that's thanks to my niece. Which niece got me that one? Susan. That's right. Thanks, Susan. Yeah. Hope you had a canny Christmas. Best wishes for 2024 and all that. And I'm just doing a quick follow-up video to that last one I put up. If anybody didn't watch it, what it was about was it was me saying, are these the last 3 vinyl records I ever buy? And I was showing those 3 that I'd got just before Christmas there, and my rationale for sort of I was presenting this as if it was a sort of terrible dilemma for me, because I'd calculated that I've got too much music to listen to. If I wanted to listen to it all, it would take me 9 years or something, and you know, who knows whether we're going to be here in 9 years or not. And the second dilemma was somebody had, you know, but I'd read an article about the carbon footprint of vinyl records and CDs, and that we shouldn't be doing them anymore, and blah blah blah. And so I presented this as a bit of a dilemma, and I got some really lovely and helpful comments. So I just wanted to sort of reflect back on that and recalibrate my position on this so-called dilemma, and just to talk about some of the Christmas finds and gifts that I got. I do have a reputation for being a bit of a grumpy old Grinch humbug Christmas stuff, but really I do like it. I'm just putting my Christmas decorations away. This is my only concession, actually, the Christmas decorations in the den. Sadly he's lost an antler, the little guy, but he's going away for another year. But I do enjoy giving gifts and receiving gifts, and I got some nice ones, some nice music related ones this year. I'm going to run through them quickly, and some of the finds from a route round, and some of the comments I got back as well on that so-called dilemma in the last video. This is a really interesting book, Booze and Vinyl, written by 2 people. One of whom's a sort of booze cocktail writer, and one of whom's a music journalist writer. And they've combined to come up with this, which is 70 classic albums which they talk about. Interesting. I've got many of them, but not all of them, so that's interesting in itself. But what they do is they suggest some pairings of a couple of cocktails for each of those albums, and yeah, I'm more of a sort of beer or lager drinker, but the odd cocktail, so yeah, it's all interesting. It starts off with a great quote. Yeah, you won't be able to read that, I don't think, but music is the wine that fills the cup of silence. That's from Robert Fripp. And then Jack White on the next page of the White Stripes, he addresses my so-called dilemma head on, really. Vinyl is the real deal, says Jack. I've always felt like if you don't buy the vinyl record, you don't really own the album. Well, yeah, I suppose Jack would say that. But yeah, that's an interesting, I look forward to digging into that. Musically, I also got some CDs. I have my record player in here, but I have loads of CDs, and my partner, she has a CD player in the other room. We're lucky enough to have 2 little living rooms here, so it tends to be most of the new music I get, not all, but most of the new music I get tends to be on CD. And she bought me some CDs which we buy each other presents that we'll hopefully enjoy as well. So the 3 she got me, the brilliant Teenage Fan Club's Nothing Lasts Forever. We had tickets for Teenage Fan Club back end of last year and had to miss it through life problems getting in the way, but that's a great album from one of my favourite bands. Wilco, I'll talk about them a bit later as well. I've got all the Wilco stuff, love that band, seen them a few times. And this is their album from last year, Cousin, which is a really great return to the sort of more experimental sort of feel. It's a bit, you know, a bit like Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, those sorts of times. Lovely stuff. That's Wilco, Cousin. And then the National had 2 albums out actually last year, and this is Laugh Track, which I think was the second of those albums, but really good stuff as well. So there were some CDs. I'm going to go on to the comments and thank everyone again for those responses. They were really, really helpful, and as I said, as a result, I have listened, and I have totally cast aside my so-called dilemma and the position I was looking like adopting last time. So you've all told me it was a load of old bollocks, but most of you are in much nicer ways. Quite a few of you sort of pointed out that collecting and owning albums isn't just about playing them. You know, David Cooper talked about how many of his albums he just wants them to be admired and to bring back memories, not necessarily for playing. Phil Baird said the same thing. It's never really been just about the playing for him. Berwickshire Mike sent a really nice comment in talking about his experience, and basically him not caring less that, you know, when he and me and others die, you know, collections will probably be you know, sold off. So it's about the pleasure of owning and collecting and everything while we're here. And Spear Rock are the same. Just do whatever makes you happy. Keep discovering, keep collecting. 4D Man, he helpfully shared his philosophy on buying stuff, mainly books in this case, but yeah, really, really helpful, and I've totally repositioned myself on this. I'm just not going to worry about it anymore. There's enough else to worry about in there. I mean, on the climate impact of vinyl itself, Colin White put on a really great comment. Yeah, climate impact of vinyl equals 1/3 of 2/5 of fuck all, and he compared streaming to vinyl as like the difference between a real woman and an inflatable doll. And I mean, thanks for just sharing your sort of personal experience there, Col. Much appreciated. Yeah. Richard Young, he just totally ignored my dilemma, and I'd talked about family as one of my last 3 records, and he just said, he totally ignored the bit I'd said about there might be my last ones, and said, next time you're out, look for a Streetwalkers album. So I did, Richard, and thanks for that. I bought this one, Red Card, which I've had one listen to. Sounds really good. This was the band that Roger Chapman formed after family folded. So yep, thanks for that. And then the William W2, don't make me laugh, he said, why stop collecting, you're harming no one, picking up on Colin's theme of the climate impact. And then finally Vinyl Richie, in his typical forthright style, he said, because I'd bought one of the Hoodoo Gurus albums. There were 3 in the second-hand record shop, and I'd picked up one of them. I'd never heard the band before, and he just said, get back to that shop and buy the other 2. So I wouldn't dare not take advice from Vinyl Richie. Thanks for that, Rich. So I got this, the other 2. This is brilliant covers as well. This is Stone Age Romeos, and this is Magnum Cum Laude. Absolutely brilliant covers. Loving this band. Like many 80s bands, I sort of missed them at the time, back in the early mid-80s, but really enjoying them now. So thanks everybody for all of that advice. And I'll just talk about some of the others that I found and or were gifted over the Christmas period. Couple of albums from the brilliant Blue Note classic vinyl series. This is just a great series. They sound superb, they're really nicely packaged, and they're really cheap. I mean, you can pick these up, I mean, even if you're paying full whack, it's 21 quid or something like that. But these, I'm picking them up now for 15 quid, brand new. Brilliant sounding albums. This is the gorgeous Horace Silver Quintet. Horace Silver, the jazz pianist, beautiful player, and this is Song for My Father, and the opening track, that is his father actually. I think that, I've forgotten now, I think they're originally from the Cape Verde Islands, have I got that right? So they've got that sort of Latin feel to some of these songs as well, and the brilliant opening track, Song for My Father, composed by Horace Silver, absolutely superb. The other one I got was one I'd never heard of him, Bobby Humphrey, but I do love a jazz flautist, and there aren't many that I'm aware of jazz flautists. I have a couple in the collection here, but this is from the sort of later 70s, I think. This is Bobby Humphrey, Fancy Dancer. Nice. I've only listened to the opening to side one, but very nice. So I'll need to give that another go. So yeah, a couple of jazz albums, and then I'll go through the others I found in the second-hand shop. This was Steve Miller Band. I mean, didn't come across Steve Miller until, I don't know, was it 73, 2, 3, 4, sort of early to mid 70s. And at that time, I didn't find him that interesting. I thought he was just a sort of mainstream, American sort of pretty straightforward rock band. Weren't very interesting to me. Hence, I've no Steve Miller stuff in here, but I had read somewhere or heard somewhere that his earlier stuff was more interesting, sort of psychedelic, sort of proggy, sort of different sort of stuff. And this is a German-produced album. This is called Progressive Pop, which I think it's all in German, so I can't make it out. But I think it's a compilation from his first two albums. Played the first couple of tracks, really interesting, different stuff, so I'm looking forward to giving that a good listen. Steve Miller Band, Progressive Pop. Next, it was just an old classic really, which I'd previously had on vinyl and lost over the mists of time. Since rebought it on CD, play it regularly. One of my favourite Neil Young albums, with the absolute punk classic Hey My, Hey Out of the Blue. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, just nice to have that again. This is a really nice copy as well, so chuffed with that. Rolling Stones, Undercover, 1983 I think. Was this their last good album? I like the stuff which preceded this, and at the time I sort of, this is about the time where I sort of give up on the Stones. I mean, I'd seen them the year or two before this live, and they were absolutely fantastic. But in terms of their records, I think I give up with after Tattoo You, which I really enjoyed. But I'm since given them another go, and I picked this one up fairly cheap, and not bad. Need to give it some more listening, but it might be their last good album. Comments welcome. The next one, this was a nice, these last two were presents. This is Wilco again. This is Cruel Country. This is a double album. This is typically beautiful, intimate songwriting from Jeff Tweedy. But it's so sparse and stripped back. I mean, it's almost as if Tweedy could have brought this out as a solo album, just him and an acoustic guitar. It almost seems superfluous to have such a brilliant band as Wilco on this album, but that's not a criticism of it. I mean, fair play to them. It's also got this beautifully made lace sort of doily, is it? I suppose you'd call it, with all of the song titles sort of woven into it. So somebody spent a lot of time making that. But that's, yeah, Wilco and Tweedy don't produce any rubbish, and that's another one, a double album full of great songwriting. And then lastly, this was a real pleasant surprise, because this was bought by my partner she'd spotted it, thought it might be up my street. This is Marty Stewart and his Fabulous Superlatives. Now Marty Stewart, I've seen his records in the bargain bins. I had him down as some sort of, I don't know, second-rate sort of cheapo country music star. I don't want to put him down, but I'd never given him any thought. His records always, they looked a bit cheap, they looked like they weren't my cup of tea. He always looked a bit odd with his funny hairdos and clothes. But she'd seen something in the cover or title of this. I think it was possibly on the back there. There's Marty Stewart and his band, and they all look a bit edgy and dangerous, and anyway she went for it, and I absolutely love it. It's called Altitude. It is really a high. It gets you on a high. It's really mixed There's good stuff, ranging. It's not. I'm gonna play a bit of it out now, and but it's a lot of different styles. It's a bit anarchic, really. I think in a really good way. So yeah, Altitude by Marty Stewart and his fabulous superlatives, and that sort of closes my Christmas gifts and finds special. I'm going to go out with Marty Stewart, if I can just turn this on. This is the title track, Altitude. As I say, it's not typical. This is a bit more straight country than some of the rest of it, but lovely stuff. Some lovely lines in it as well. And so, just to wish you all the very, very best for 2024. I'll be back with a video early next week, really. I think, hopefully. Altitude.
Get to go and
Marty
stay.
Stewart.
Must give all your love away.
I love that line.
Altitude. Altitude.
He was once married to Johnny Cash's daughter, apparently, so
Like
Wikipedia.
years off the ground, where time stands still beat on the speed of sound. And altitude, altitude.
lovely stuff. See you soon. Ta-ra.